But what's follow up then with some of the maybe the smaller titles that may not get picked up?
Ooh, smaller titles that may not get picked up. I would go to maybe some of the horror movies. There's a lot of.
You want to talk about the one you liked or the one you liked? Yeah. Well, I guess between
I liked a lot more this year.
Ghost House or Hush? Which one do you want to talk about?
Well, I'll start with Hush. So, because that's the one we watched first, and I really feel like knowing that one first sort of influenced my reaction to the other one. So Hush was this horror movie done by the same guy who did what was that Karen Gillian one?
No idea.
It was another South by movie. Oculus.
Oh yeah.
Yes, Oculus. Which actually
I love that film.
See, I didn't like Oculus.
That was fantastic.
There were some good elements, but I was really bothered or taken out of the story. I love Karen Gillian. I think she's a great actress, but I was taken out of the story because it kept going back and forth between flashbacks to her as her younger self, and her younger self didn't have an accent, and she still had her accent as her older self.
I didn't notice that.
Oh yeah, so it drove me crazy and it took me out of the story, and I couldn't get scared because I didn't feel like it was real.
See, and I want to talk about this before we go on, and this is the great contrast. See, I think a lot of people were frightened by Hush, and I think a lot of people will be. But I really like Oculus because I think there's two things. I'm much more like a ghost because you can't fight a ghost. Yes, you can't fight the supernatural. And Hush, though, an intruder. Well, I think I have a fighting chance, and that's
so that's the plot of Hush. Hush is real. Like that's why it terrified me.
It's like a stalker-esque guy.
Well, you have a stalker. This girl lives in kind of a remote house. Her neighbors, she has neighbors, but they're kind of farish away. I mean, she has good property.
Right.
But she's deaf.
The property's fantastic. Let me tell you, it's winning. It's the best.
But she's deaf. She can't hear. So she's a pretty intelligent, savvy. She can take care of herself.
Which is really kind of the spin on this genre.
Yeah.
I want to call it. Not really exactly.
It's a stalker genre. There's a lot like the You're Next and stuff. You have people who show up for the Stranglers. You have people who show up at houses all the time. And usually what happens is someone hears a door creak or there's a crash behind them. But this one, like the guy, he shows up and he almost draws it out more because like it could have been so quick for him to just be like, oh, she's deaf, like I'll just come up behind her.
T-Rex doesn't want to be fed, it wants to hunt.
He wanted to hunt, so he shows up and he draws it out because he's so intrigued. Like he's like, oh, I can really fuck with this woman. And he's really sadistic about it.
Yeah, and that mask, which I wish they would have dragged that out more though, because the mask was perfect.
I loved it. So the guy first shows up wearing this mask, and when he realizes that she's deaf and isn't really aware of his presence, because he kind of like shows up and even like knocks on her window, and she doesn't flinch and turn around, and he's so intrigued by this. But him taking off the mask so early in the movie, I loved it because he was just kind of like, I don't care. I don't give a fuck because I've won this situation. That's why I can take my time. I'm not going to lose this.
Right.
I'm not worried about cops. I'm not worried about... He was so... I got this. Like, I mean, oh man, his confidence in the situation, him taking off the mask, I thought was like a huge middle finger to everyone watching because he's like, no, I'm not worried.
I enjoyed the film, but I always have a hard time getting into these films because I don't know, it's just one guy. I mean, you know, I just feel like go and fucking have at him. Let's just have at it. Let's just do it.
Yeah, but I mean,
I have a hard time like really getting into that mindset of fear, I suppose, that most people do.
Well, see, that's the thing. I actually think I wouldn't have been as afraid if he kept the mask on because that would have been too cautious. That would have been, oh, I can still mess. Well,
it's anonymous. It's anonymous.
Find me. If she accidentally sees me, I can still run off. Right. So he wanted to be known.
He wanted to be known, but I think that, and they had a good enough actor, and of course I don't know his name, but they had a good enough actor to pull it off. He had that kind of like a Tyler Durden-esque.
Yeah.
You know, he was very intense, like very smiley, and I love the character itself, but once again, it's hard for me to get into that, except the cat. I really wanted him to get the cat, but he didn't. So animals lovers. Yeah.
But so I really enjoyed Hush. Sounds like, but you don't like the realistic.
I don't really like the one. I'm not really like a straight. Like I just like this. If I was deaf, this would be like, oh, fuck it, let's just have it out. Let's just try it.
Well,
anyway,
she was pretty awesome too. She
kicked ass, but I kind of wanted her to die. Cause don't they always like?
You always root for the.
I was just like that would have been shocking to me. We just spoiled the end of the film.
I didn't. You did.
That was me. Whoops.
But
whoops.
Anyways, So that's Hush, and then on the other side of that, there's another horror movie that was at the festival.
I think it's Don't Breathe. It's the
It's
official
now
title
called,
because it was
but
untitled.
originally, and I think that Attitude's Intrigue. It was the Fede Alvarez project.
Ghost House.
Untitled Ghost House film is what it was. Thriller is what it was being
I was so
billed as.
excited about this film.
Everyone was so excited because I mean this guy, Fede Alvarez. If you don't know, he did the Evil Dead. He did the remake with the girl. So he's done something that was well received, but it wasn't his own story. This was his original story.
Really his first time at bat.
Yeah, and it's not to say that he was a bad director. It's just I think after watching Hush, this has a similar device. People break into a house, but this time the guy is blind. Although in this case, the blind guy kind of ends up being the antagonist, and really tortures the people who break in. But I don't know. I just the entire time I felt like I didn't feel trapped. I didn't feel like anyone was really getting threatened. I didn't believe any of that situation.
Why is this guy such a badass? Is what I'm thinking through the entire film. It's just like, what? And for a blind guy, he's like comparable. You can compare him to Daredevil. Like he's almost just like this super fucking mutant.
Yeah.
I didn't really get it, and also the thing. I don't want to
get so contrived.
And what happened in the basement? Can we talk about what happened in the basement?
So there's a scene with this girl, and there was some nonsense about trying to get her pregnant. It wasn't rape per se, but it was rape.
No, he even had like this nonsense like, I've never raped anybody.
The conversation in the movie just didn't sit well with me.
He put cum in a turkey baster and he was trying to put it in her, and then she put it in his mouth.
That scene was a disaster.
I didn't know what they were trying to do with that. Like,
no, I'm like
okay, because you're trying to go for this very serious tone, right?
Yeah.
And now we're talking about cum in a turkey baster.
Yeah.
You can't do it. You can't do it.
I felt like it was such a jokey thing to do all with. I don't know.
I felt like maybe the film even got bored by itself.
Yeah. It was kind of boring.
Yeah, it was kind of boring. And Cujo, why is Cujo such a badass? There's this dog, and he just somehow he's super dog. Like both the blind man.
Steroids.
Oh my god! I do like the comparison that one was deaf and the other was blind, but they're on the opposite end of the spectrums. One was the victim, and one was the.
And I actually think seeing
perpetrator.
Fede Alvarez made me like Hush even more. Like I liked Hush, and then I felt like I loved Hush after I saw the other end of the spectrum.
Because I'll be honest with you, I know Ghost House is studio, but when I saw it, I was like, oh, ghost film. I didn't really connect the dots. That's where I really wanted to see it. I wanted to see a ghost flick.
So it wasn't supernatural enough for me. Because you were promised supernatural.
I was wanting a little bit of that in my life. Just a little bit, just a smidge.
Yeah. So that was interesting.
So we should probably finish up with the last one, who had, by the way, the best host of all of the films. Do you remember that guy?
Oh yeah. So we were at the Alamo Ritz, which is kind of like
that is the Alamo.
The Alamo. It's there's only 2 screens, so it's pretty small. A little bit hard to get into this one, but it's a cool theater. It's cool. It has that really like local, down to earth kind of the Austin vibe you look for. It doesn't feel like you're.
It must be kind of like an old timey theater, the lobby.
Yeah, it has kind of. But we went to go see Carnage Park as another midnighter there, and this was another one of the directors there, and there's this Alamo guy who did the Q&A with the director.
He was a god. And how did he even open up the film? Can you remember?
I don't remember how he opened it, but I do know after the film when he came out, he goes, I didn't even watch that. I was just
he was shit-faced. He was shit-faced, but he was holding it together. It's like towards maybe the end when he was kind of swaying back on the wall, and then didn't he keep like.
Oh, the director had a fun time with him too.
Well, he kept cutting people's questions off.
Oh, he would joke. I'm sure he actually.
He was joking. It was great.
But a person would start to ask a question, and the Q&As are kind of awkward at South by. Like some people ask really legit good questions.
This is a great opportunity to talk about this.
But there's also the people who get up there and they sell themselves, or like they start off. And I know you're talking to a celebrity or a big deal director, and you want to say how much they mean.
I feel people's embarrassment, and like there's points where I just want to fucking die.
You have 30 seconds to tell someone how much they mean to you.
Yeah.
So you get these people that get up there and like, oh,
I'm an actor.
Since I was 2, well, those are the worst. The ones that sell themselves like, I'm an actor, and let me tell you how I'm into the show business and my experience. How do you feel about my experience?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what? You're not an actor. Not on their level. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Wow, that was. But anyway, so this guy was great.
So this guy, and people were actually asking good questions at this point, but he was just messing with them.
Yeah.
And at least
you're spoiling the movie.
Yeah. Hey, no spoilers.
Yeah.
Get to the question. And the director thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Like I think there are some guys you probably shouldn't have done that.
I think he was done.
But we were just having a fun time. It's a midnighter. Everyone's there just to
and
have
also
fun.
it was on a Tuesday night, so the film was almost done at this point. Basically done by Tuesday, Wednesday, So he was partying. He was having a good time. I love that guy. I don't know his name, but
the movie.
Give him a raise.
The movie, I will say too, while we're talking about Carnage Park.
We might as well talk about the film.
Yeah, we might as well. I actually really enjoyed it.
I fell asleep.
Well, you know, have you ever read the short stories where they talk about like the greatest hunt or the greatest game ever played?
Kind of like a Ravenous or.
Well, the greatest game ever played is man hunting for man.
Okay, like a battle royale. What we're talking about here.
Yeah. So, Carnage Park. Basically, this guy takes like people who go off the road or hitchhikers or whatever, and drops them in this middle of nowhere property and he hunts them. And this one girl, she's trapped in this property and getting hunted by this crazy Texas Chainsaw Massacre-esque dude with a sniper rifle. And this is another movie, sort of like Hush, where the guy is so confident in his ability to win.
Yeah.
That's what's off-settling.
There's almost like a cover-up about it too.
But this movie was so. I love the style of the movie. Well, first off, the tone, the colors, and the contrast. It was all kind of like reds and hues. Like the girl, she had red hair, and she was wearing like this white pink dress, and then the dirt and the ground and everything was just kind of this red. So it was a very barren landscape, but the film style was added to all of that.
Let me give a shout out. There's an actor. He's fantastic, and it was the guy from The Innkeepers, and he was also in Cheap Thrills. He played the cop, and that guy is such an understated actor. I don't know his name.
But I enjoyed it. There's lots of styles. There's some really cool stuff. This is another movie that sort of plays on talking about like blindness. This movie has some scenes that sort of takes away the sight, has a sense. So,
it's very claustrophobic at certain scenes.
Yeah. So, and that was kind of a theme this year. I feel like a lot of the horror movies in particular took away senses or capabilities.
There were some other themes. There were some themes what's up by this year.
Imprisonment's a big one. So Carnage Park, this girl's in prison in the middle of this park. We watched Pet. Which is this other.
Do you want to get into this? No, let's finish up Carnage Park. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you.
I said the piece because I don't want to spoil too much. Like that's the general, just the plot.
I don't give a fuck.
There's this beautiful stylization, and it's weirdly fun yet scary. It's almost like a spaghetti western.
Yeah.
For horror.
It was great.
So a spaghetti western for horror. I don't know.
It was fantastic. It was a little survival flick.
Yeah.
Well,
survival flick. Yeah. Okay, so Pet. So we're talking.
Okay, so you know how you felt about Midnight Special? Take your hate and multiply it times 10.
Okay, did you really hate that one though? Because you have this thing about actors you really like that they have to be good guys.
No, they made him a jabroni. Okay, it's not like Montague. He played Charlie from Lost. He's like the next Steve Irwin. Has that show Wild Things.
He's in The Lord of the Rings?
Lord of the Rings, of course. Hobbitses.
Well, Elijah Wood was also at the festival, so I was really hoping for middle of Lord of the Rings.
Well, I was hoping he'd be back, but he did not. I think this film is like really, because the director introduced it and he said that they started shooting this, I want to say, around first few seasons
of
Lost.
There's like a short where they did it a long time ago.
They did it a long time ago, because I think this is an older film, and Dominic Damon, didn't show up, and I kind of understand why, because the plot for this film so fucking ludicrous. So I don't know. I feel like a 14-year-old boy
I was okay
wrote it.
Until the end. The last scene, the little conclusion is where it lost me.
So anyway, I feel like a 14-year-old boy wrote it while playing some sort of a My Chemical Romance album in the background. It's about a guy who's trying to save this girl from. Wouldn't be a spoiler. She was to say she's a bad person. And he puts her in a cage so he can.
It is kind of a spoiler.
Huh?
You don't know she's a bad person for most of the
Yeah, you do. Pretty early on. Yeah, pretty. You missed the first half of the film. We missed about a quarter of the film.
I saw they didn't. Well,
anyway.
They didn't go
Anyway, puts her in a cage, and then tries to re-educate her, save her. He's in love with her. It gets very sloppy. But this, I just think his character
There's
didn't
a
make
lot
any
of
sense to me. I
There's
didn't
a lot
understand
of
his.
manipulation that happens, and it's not clear who's manipulating who. But
they say it's a love story.
The inconsistency.
No.
It sounds like
So
you
they
guys
try.
are
No. They try to set this film up as some sort of love story, but then it becomes a manipulation. Like I didn't understand how they were trying to sell this film, and then how it ends. I was fucking furious. There are a few films that I've actually hated. I hated this fucking film. I was furious about what she did at the end, and then what she does with another guy at the end, and then what happens to my poor Dominic in the end. I fucking want. I mean, and also there's some actor love there.
Yeah.
There was some actor love there, but
I will say the acting was amazing.
I thought she was shit.
Oh really? I thought she was fantastic.
No,
it's Kinsey Solo. She's been on.
I'm so impressed that you know people's names. Horrible.
She's been on Lost Girl, and she was on. There's a CW show that she did.
You know who's great though? It's the bartender from Forgetting Sarah Marshall, the guy who can name all the fish. He was the security guard.
Oh.
That guy was great. Him and Dominic. That's the only two worth mentioning. The rest of it is just horrible.
I don't know. I liked her. I thought she did some of the desperation.
I wanted to set Lamar on fire after watching that film. I hated that film so much. And it sucks because it really explain why I really hate it. I guess I would have to give away a lot, but you know what? Just don't see it. Don't even consider it.
Yeah, but the imprisonment thing was big. So that had it. Carnage Park. We talked about the Fede Alvarez Don't Breathe movie. But
can I say one more time before we get off this how much I fucking hate Pet?
I know you do.
Oh, but there was another thing. Dominic loves animals, and they have him kill an animal in that. It made me really fucking sad. I mean, he's an actor, he's not really the real person. I get that reality. I understand that reality.
I'm pretty sure the animal didn't actually die.
You can't kill fucking dogs in movies, no. Just say. No, let me say one more thing. Let me say one thing. That is so fucking ridiculous. It's a little man of a film with very tiny hands.